All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a topic that is absolutely essential for anyone in the crypto world: digital privacy. It's a space that's full of myths and a lot of misunderstandings. And honestly, getting this stuff right is the key to protecting your assets. So, let's just start with the biggest question of all. Is your crypto really anonymous? I mean, that's the dream, right? Well, the short answer is nope, not really. It's a super common and frankly pretty dangerous misconception. While the blockchain doesn't have your name stamped on it, it does leave behind a trail of digital breadcrumbs that can, and often do, lead right back to you.
And this is where it gets really interesting. See, on the blockchain itself, you've got what's called pseudo-anonymity. Think of your wallet address kind of like a nickname. It's public, sure, but it's not directly tied to your real name. But here's the catch. Every single time you connect to the internet to check your balance or make a transaction, your real IP address is exposed. And that IP address? That's the golden thread that someone can use to connect your on-chain nickname to your real-world identity.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll shatter that anonymity myth for good. Then we'll look at your digital footprint and explore the tools of the trade, starting with your first shield, the VPN, all the way up to the pro-level stuff. We'll also get into the trader's dilemma and wrap it all up by helping you figure out how to choose your own digital armor.
Okay, let's dive right in. First up, the anonymity myth. We're going to go way beyond the blockchain to see where the real risks are hiding. The number one threat we're talking about here is something called de-anonymization. It's basically a fancy word for connecting the dots. An attacker takes your public wallet activity and links it to your off-chain data. And the biggest piece of that puzzle is, you guessed it, your IP address. And just like that, your private financial life, well, it isn't so private anymore.
So how does this actually work in the real world? Well, research shows it's all about timing. An attacker can just monitor network traffic. They see a little data packet from your IP address checking a transaction status at, say, 2:05 p.m. Then they look at the public blockchain and see a transaction confirmed for that same wallet at 2:05 p.m. And boom, that's it. They've just linked your real-world IP directly to your crypto wallet.
Okay, let's move on to your crypto footprint, because I guarantee you it's probably a lot bigger than you think.
Just think about this number for a second. 68%. That's how many crypto traders, according to research, have no idea how vulnerable they are without a basic privacy tool like a VPN. That is a massive awareness gap, and honestly, it's a huge security risk for the entire community.
Which brings us to our first line of defense, the virtual private network, or VPN. The best way to think about a VPN is as your own personal digital bodyguard. It wraps all your internet traffic in a secure encrypted tunnel. And most importantly, it masks your real IP address, swapping it out for one of its own.
So let's talk a bit more about that first shield. What are the absolute core benefits of using a VPN if you're involved in crypto? For traders, the benefits are just huge. I mean, first, a VPN encrypts your connection, which is totally non-negotiable if you're on public Wi-Fi at a coffee shop or airport. It masks your IP, which stops those de-anonymization attacks we just talked about. It can help you bypass geo-restrictions, giving you access to global exchanges, and, this is a big one, it prevents your own internet service provider from watching and logging your trading activity.
Okay, so a VPN sounds like a complete no-brainer, right? Well, this is where it gets a little complicated. Welcome to the trader's dilemma, where your need for privacy smacks right into the rules of the game.
And this quote just says it all, perfectly. Using a VPN is perfectly legal in most places. But, and this is a big but, it almost always violates the terms of service you agreed to when you signed up for a major exchange like Coinbase or Binance. The reason for this clash is pretty simple. You and the exchange want different things. Your goal is to maintain privacy, keep your assets secure, and maybe access global markets. The exchange's goal? Well, they have to comply with this incredibly complex web of global regulations, like KYC, Know Your Customer, which means they are required to know exactly who you are and where you're located.
And if you get caught breaking those rules, the consequences are no joke. We're talking about anything from a temporary slap on the wrist to having your funds frozen indefinitely. They could put strict limits on your withdrawals or even just ban your account permanently. The risk is very real.
So, if a standard VPN comes with all these risks, what do the pros do? This brings us to the next level, more advanced pro-level privacy tools that go way beyond the basics. The first step up is to move from a shared VPN IP to a dedicated one. See, a shared IP is used by hundreds, maybe thousands of other people.
If just one of them does something sketchy and gets that IP blacklisted, well, you're blacklisted too. A dedicated IP, on the other hand, is yours and yours alone. It gives you a clean, consistent address that doesn't trigger all those security flags, giving you much more stable access for trading. Now let's take it even one step further, into the realm of what you might call the ultimate digital camouflage, a residential proxy. Instead of routing your traffic through a server in a data center, it sends it through an IP address that's assigned to a real home device. So, to any website or exchange you visit, your activity looks like it's just coming from some regular person browsing from their couch.
So here's the crucial difference, the main takeaway. A VPN is primarily about security and privacy. It builds an encrypted fortress around your data. A residential proxy, however, is all about identity and access. Its main job is to make you look like a legitimate local user, which is absolutely essential for things like managing multiple accounts or scraping market data without getting blocked.
So, with all these different tools, how on earth do you choose the right one? Well, it all comes down to one really critical concept: your personal threat model.
This quote from our source material just nails it. You can't talk about safety without first asking yourself, who am I actually trying to protect myself from? Is it a hacker at the coffee shop? Is it my own ISP? Is it a government? A casual crypto holder has a totally different threat model than a high-volume professional trader.
But look, no matter what your personal model is, here are some best practices that apply to everyone. Always choose a reputable provider with a strict no-logs policy. If you're using a VPN with an exchange you've KYC'd with, use a server in your verified country. Always enable strong two-factor authentication. And please, make sure your VPN has a kill switch. That feature will cut your internet if the VPN connection ever drops, which prevents a disastrous IP leak.
And this little table breaks it all down nicely. It shows you exactly which tool fits your needs. So, if you just need to secure your connection on public Wi-Fi, a basic VPN is perfect. If you need stable, reliable access to an exchange without getting constantly flagged, a dedicated IP is your best bet. And for the really advanced stuff, like managing multiple accounts, a residential proxy is the pro's choice.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. As our lives move more and more online, we really have to ask ourselves, is privacy becoming just another premium feature we have to pay for? Or is it a fundamental right that we have to stand up and fight for? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in,